Without further ado, let Matt take over. Give it up for MD Matt Chang.
All right, good morning. Morning. All right, who else has got a busy day today after the weekend?
Right here.
Okay, everybody should, right? Something that I'll always point out, and some of you guys that have heard me speak before, I talk about this all the time, weekends are the best days to do appointments. Because guess what, most people work Monday through Friday, right? That whole 9 to 5 deal, and then they're off Saturdays and Sundays. Okay, when I was part-time in the business, I was doing as many appointments as I could on the weekends. Right, for some of you guys that don't know my background, who's ever heard me speak before? Outside Nick's team. All right, so a lot of you guys on Mike's team, because you guys been in Riverside, when we used to be together, that was different, right? For you guys that haven't heard me speak, my background is in retail management. I work for a very large company that everybody loves to shop at and get free samples, is Costco. All right? Long story short, after a demotion, and by all means it wasn't my fault, it's just how corporate structure is when you go into, being a supervisor, leadership, management, and then they're like, well, we don't need you, we're gonna promote somebody else. That's basically what happened to me now, right? And by the way, I have leadership experience running Target. I worked for Target for 4 years and opened 2 buildings for them. So I'm used to leading and managing a team. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But after that demotion at Costco Wholesale, I got one phone call, very similar to a lot of you guys, and I got an invitation to a BPM on a Tuesday night in April of 2010. That's how long I've been around. Okay, that one phone call changed everything. Right, and for some of you guys, it won't hit you right away, but after you've been here about 6 to 12 months, it starts to click on why that one phone call changes everything. You guys don't realize one person can literally change your life.
It's true. Yeah.
Right? By the way, the person that recruited you, are they still in the business?
Yes.
Yes.
For some of you guys, yes. Me, no.
No.
Nope. My cousin Jonathan, when he was recruited about, give or take,
What was that? 10 years?
yeah, almost 10 years now. Right, I got recruited, my code number went in April 17th, 2010. I still remember the date. And by the way, guys, I'll tell you something that I share with the guests when I present. When I came through these doors, I only had $50 to my name. I couldn't even do my AMA. I couldn't even register for my course. I had to wait till my payday that Friday, right? And by the way, I was only making $1,800 a month over at Costco. Everybody says it's a big, reputable company.
Yeah, exactly.
BS. You guys realize one of my cycles like 2 weeks ago was almost $1,800. Right? And by the way, if you guys are like what Nick was talking about competing, right, out of the MD category, you have 2 of the top 10 MDs in G's entire hierarchy in this room right now. That's myself and Ivan.
Yeah.
Right.
I think, Ivan, you were number 3 last year and I was number 4, if I remember correctly. Right? He's got a watch, I got my watch, right? By the way, how many MDs are in this room? Is it just myself, Ivan, Lewis, Matt? And that's it?
Jacomo.
Oh, Jacomo left. He said he had to go to an appointment. I don't know why you schedule an appointment. You know you gotta be at BPM. That's crazy. Right? Okay, but here's the thing, guys. You guys gotta realize what's going on in WFG right now. There are some serious MDs making serious cash. You guys know I'm very great friends with Bradley and Nanette. They just hit the ring part-time MDs.
Yeah.
Part-time. By the way, guys, MD is the old S&D contract, if you didn't know. S&D used to get the 80% contract now, but back then it was only 65%. So being an MD is 62. You can make a good amount of change being an MD, right? And you want to be a strong MD. Nick and I have had this conversation multiple times. You want to be a strong MD before going out to SMD.
That's right.
So one of my focuses is promoting 2 MDs and then making it hard for him to choose which leg to take. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Because guess what? When I become a senior marketing director, I'm going to have that MD's like, all right, you want to hit SMD? Promote 2 MDs, make it hard for me to choose. right? And the other goal too is to hit my ring in the base. Like you guys have to realize how good WFG is, which I'm going to talk about today, but it's more of the Crusade, but how great it is in WFG, and why you really need to take this serious. Because honestly, a lot of you guys are here for a reason, are you not?
Yes.
You're not happy with something that's going on in your life right now that your job is not giving you. Am I right?
Yes.
Okay? So by the time I'm done today, a few things I want you guys to take away from my talk today is I want you guys to take away why you need to be confident out in the field and have a certain type of conviction. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. So one thing I always start with too is why do you do WFG? Everybody has a reason, right? When I first got started, I'm gonna move this out of the way because I need to walk. When I first started working in doing WFG, I just wanted to make an extra $1,000, $1,500 a month. Isn't that most of us, right? But I knew someday I would be married and I would be a father. Okay, I was 26 at the time. I knew, and excuse my French, I know I had to get my shit together. Right? You know, most people, even at 26, they don't think that far ahead. They think about, what am I doing Friday night? What am I doing Saturday night? Right? They don't think about saving, investing money. They don't think about life insurance. They don't think about all the things that are very, very important before these type of events happen. Right? Like my son's 9 months old now. So I'm a new dad. How many parents are in here? Okay. I'm gonna talk to you guys as a friend, but also as sideline leadership, and something that Nick had told me when I became a dad. Being a parent is one of the ultimate forms of leadership. You are setting the example for your children. But now, let me ask you something else. Are you the hero to your kids? Do your kids look at you like they look at Superman or Batman, right? Aquaman, the X-Men, Spider-Man, Wonder Woman, Captain Marvel, right? Do they look at you with that type of admiration that I want to be like my dad? I want to be like my mom. What example are you really setting for your kids? Right? Like your kids will see you leave the house. Right? Like right now, my son's just like, okay, I'm gonna hang out with my grandparents today. Right? And here's the other thing, what I don't understand is how do I beat a lot of you guys here, and a lot of you guys live just as close as me, and I had to drop off my son with my parents in Rialto and still make it here.
Time management.
Okay? By the way, I'm probably up a lot earlier than you guys. I'm probably up as early as Nick, around 5:30 every single morning. Okay? And also too, by the way, I'm probably on the phone by about 6 to 7, following up on pending business because I want to focus on building a base shop and getting more people in here and then booking more appointments. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. So what's your driving force of why you're in WFG, right? Mine now is changed from making extra money and getting out of credit card debt to, okay, what type of life am I providing for them? Right, like this picture right here, that's my son's first time at the beach. Laguna. Crystal Cove to be precise, right? My wife said, we need to go to the beach one more time before he grows out of that bathing suit, right? I was just having this talk with Benjamin, right? In the Mo Zone, right? Imagine 5, 10, 15, 20 years from now, if your kids are still small, you never miss one thing. You go on vacation as much as you want. You can pay for their college tuition without having them to depend on student loans or scholarships, any of that other stuff, right? Why not be the force that sets that example for your kids to show them that my dad or my mom worked very, very hard to give me the life that we have, right? But also too, on top of that, it's like to go along with that, you know, what Nick was talking about, what's your savings habits like? You know, if you guys are working a full-time job right now, everything you make in WFG, you should be saving. You don't spend one damn penny of that money. Because your bills are pretty much paid with your job, correct? Because most people live paycheck to paycheck, they're just waiting for the next thing, right? That's why WG, you gotta be saving every single penny that you make. Like when I came full-time, I was telling, like when I came full-time, I was completely out of credit card debt and 20 grand saved, cash. I could have come full-time sooner, but I didn't want to because I wasn't satisfied with how much money I had saved, right? You wanna be a good steward to your money, right? Because you're gonna be setting an example for not only for your family, but also for your clients, right? And like you guys had heard me speak before, I always recommend books. And the reason I do that is because if you're not reading books, you're not more valuable, right? Even if you're working a job right now, the only way you're gonna be more valuable to your company, if you wanna get that next promotion and make more money, is you gotta work on yourself.
That's true.
Right? And also too, by the way, becoming a millionaire is a mindset. If you're not reading books about saving, investing money, and having conversations with your mentors about how to save money, how do you expect to have a lot of money? I mean, as stupidly simple as that sounds, most people don't think of it that way. They're like, oh, I'll be okay. I'm just gonna put money in my 401k and hope for the best, right? But if you want to have $1 million saved, or be a cash millionaire, or make $1 million a year, you have to have that mindset, right? So some of these books, some of these books you guys already seen. The Tax Free Retirement, Retirement Miracle. You guys know who Patrick Kelly is, right?
Yes.
Okay, a couple other books I recommend: The Power of Zero and The Look Before You Lerp. So those books are about the IUL. Period. Continuation of like Tax Free Retirement, Retirement Miracle. Money, Wealth, and Life Insurance by Jake Thompson. I have that in PDF if you guys want that, so just come bug me later. Yes, Dave?
Let's say if you're if you just passed your life test,
You need to
get
get
the
these
tax-free retirement book. Like now that you're done studying for your license, like Joe, for example, that's the book you need to get to. Bell, same thing, tax-free retirement, the first one.
I'll also make another recommendation. How many of you guys ever go to the public library? Okay. Can I give a big suggestion to you guys that don't step foot in a public library?
Yes.
Go to the public library. They typically have a good used book section. If you guys follow me on Instagram, you guys have seen pictures of my home library. I got 240 plus books. About 90% of them are from the public library. So books I would normally we talk about saving money, right? Books that would typically cost you 25 to 30 bucks, I'm getting for like a quarter to $2. I know it sounds silly,
That's awesome. Saving money. Saving
but
money.
really, I mean, think about how many books. If you do the math, if you save $10 for every book, I have 240. Start doing the math. That's 2,400 bucks, right? The Richest Man in Babylon.
Awesome.
I mean, that's a classic book.
Yeah.
You guys know
That's a good one.
you guys don't realize that book. All they talk about saving 10% of everything you make.
Richest Man in Babylon is a great book.
Plain and simple.
Entry-level book.
Yeah, and The Millionaire Next Door. Like guys, you wouldn't believe some people used to, like I've sat down with people that are millionaires, you wouldn't even think were millionaires. Like these are normal, everyday people that just have $1 million, $2 million, and you wouldn't even know.
My neighbor has that book.
It's a great book, right? And there's actually two other books that continue that one.
He got it.
There's another good one that's called What Was the Rubber Color?
Yeah, I've seen that one too.
What Was the Rubber Color?
So, but now here's the thing. Here's one of my points about today's training. September is Life Insurance Awareness Month. How many of you guys knew that already? Everybody should, right?
Yep.
Okay. I follow a lot of you guys on Instagram, and hardly any of you guys are talking about life insurance. You guys realize Instagram, your Facebook, that's your free marketing. People pay attention to that stuff. Dee Dee shared a great story, was at the very beginning of the month, about her posting about it's Life Insurance Awareness Month, and a few of her current clients have reached out to her and given them referrals, and they've already written some business from it.
Yeah.
By the way, they're not door knocking, right? The power of our system, they're not door knocking, they're not really advertising, they're not cold calling, right? All because of WFG. So you guys should be thinking, okay, who do I know that has life insurance? I'll give you guys a couple examples too. Who do I know that has life insurance that I know for sure has never heard of an IUL? And who do I know that doesn't have life insurance? By the way, everybody needs life insurance. I don't care how young or old, and they say, no, I don't need it, I don't have any responsibilities, and I'll give you guys a script for that, right? But you should be talking about it heavily, about its life insurance going this month, right? Like today, I didn't post anything for particularly that because I was getting ready for today, but I actually have a slew of like pictures that I posted on our WeChat that, you know, our team uses, right? You gotta be talking about what you do all the time. You hear all the time, closed mouths don't get fed, do they?
Yes, sir.
You've been talking to everybody about WFG. Everybody, right? A couple memes for you guys, because I know everybody loves memes, right? Right? Okay, this one, if you guys can't recognize this area, this is just down the street from here. Okay, that's just down the street. Okay, there's another picture I took. I was out with my wife. What was it? Last year, while she was still pregnant, we were in the Corona Shopping Center off McKinley in the 91. Another family asking for donations. And if you guys when you're in this industry, you start paying attention to things differently. I've seen estate sales all over Southern California. How many of you guys know what an estate sale is? Some of you guys, right? An estate sale is when somebody dies and they're basically selling off everything they own to pay for their estate taxes. They call it estate tax now. They used to call it death tax, and the government's like, no, we can't call it death tax. It sounds too like demoralizing and morbid. So they call it estate taxes, right? But you guys have to realize this happens every single day. And you know the reason why? Is because people don't think about it. They don't. Like even some of my friends with more responsibilities than me, I keep telling them, dude, you need life insurance. No, I'm good. What? Like, how can you tell me you're good, but you have more responsibilities than me, but I have more life insurance than you? Right? And also that goes along for you guys. You should be a living example of why you should be having a lot of life insurance. You're saving a lot of money.
Or they have Disney passes, but no life insurance, no college funds. Yes, no college funds.
Yeah, they got season passes to Disneyland, Universal, Six Flags, what is it, SeaWorld, Legoland. Like, all that stuff adds up.
All entertainment.
I have an appointment on Sunday. This lady says, well, with all my other contributions, mind you, she's in her 50s, barely anything saved for retirement, no life insurance. Like, I can only save $25 a month. I'm like, we're gonna have one hell of a conversation Sunday. Sorry. But imagine, there are a lot of people out there that are like that need WFG, right? Now, hold on, let me back up before I go there. Okay. I'm gonna have one disclaimer. I was telling this to Nick. Okay, I want you guys to follow what your S&D, their foundation. Okay, you guys follow? Don't stray away from their foundation until you are ready. Okay, I'm like one of Nick's techiest guys, and I've written everything with a life and health license. And there will be times where you have to venture out, and yes, you will have to learn other carriers and other products. But the beauty of WFG is because since we're a non-captive company, we're a marketing company, we're not tied to one product, one service, or just a small suite of products. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Like Primerica, it's really just term insurance, that's it. Unless you get duly licensed, right? New York Life, same thing. It's just their term, their whole life, and universal life, that's it. Which, by the way, they're freaking expensive. I replaced a lot of their policies, right? And I hear they're getting into the IUL game. They're like way behind compared to us, right? So my disclaimer to you guys is you follow what your S&D has, or your CEO, right? Okay, you will eventually have to venture out. I had to early in my career because I was sitting down with so many people. I was one of Nick's top matchup trainers, just like Alex and Dee Dee. You know, even at one point, I was field training half of Cynthia Moore's team when she was on her SME room, right? So I'm going to talk specifically your life and health license today, okay? So you guys look. This is just with your life and health license. Term with living benefits, right? Term with return premium, which Transamerica used to do. They don't do it anymore, but you can still do it through, how many of you guys are familiar with Chrome? Okay, you can do it through Chrome. great products through them, right? Whole life, single pay, whole life with long-term care, final expense, whole life, like, you guys, if you guys want to beat the competition out in the field, you gotta know what you can offer. Because if you don't know what you can offer, you're gonna get beat. Remember when I was talking about that whole compassion, conviction?
Yeah.
I know we got it so good because of all this. And by the way, I haven't even talked about the broker dealer, right? Like Nick is securities. He can do more than what I was showing you guys on the screen. You guys realize some of the things that have changed recently? If you write final expense policies through Everest, they have a single pay final expense now. Somebody can just give them a lump sum of money, and they figure out based on how much money they give them a single pay final expense that they never have to pay for ever again. And they still get the life insurance policy plus all the benefits of the average concierge, right? By the way, guys, we're the only company that carries Everest.
Yep.
Nobody else does. And by the way, that company that does the final expense, IA American, they do the group life plans for Google, Samsung, and Facebook, and Apple. So if somebody ever questions, well, you know how good's the company? Tell them that. They want credibility, don't they?
Yes.
That's what I'm saying. Well, what do you guys do? They want credibility. I don't have time. They want credibility. Right? I don't have experience in sales. They're looking for credibility. I mean, how many of you guys before coming to WG had sales experience? Okay, maybe about a quarter of the room, right? But most of us, we don't. Right? And a lot of people's fears is public speaking. Who fears public speaking? It's like it's almost everybody, right?
Fears it?
Yeah. Oh, you just got that loud projecting voice wrong. Right? But a couple other things, guys. If the change in the industry, you guys also want to be familiar with long-term care. That's a big deal right now. And WFG's been making a big deal about that for the past 2 to 3 years. Because people are living a lot longer and most people aren't prepared. That's why we do term with living benefits, IO with long-term care, and then we can still do standalone long-term care policies too, where it's just a pool of money that people can pull from to help pay for medical expenses. Whether it's a caregiver, which by the way, I'll give you a quick stat. The average caregiver, 4 hours a day, 5 days a week, is anywhere between $2,500 to $5,000 a month. A month. That's $30,000 to $150,000 a year. And people wonder why they stress out and why they die so early, because they stress out about money.
Yes.
Because they're not financially prepared. Okay? By the way, guys, it's okay to be a little, very straightforward and kind of get into somebody's dish a little bit about, dude, this is the reason why you need this. Right? And if I'm talking to anybody like in Alex and Dee Dee's market, I like to call that the sandwich generation. They may be taking care of their parents, right? Yes. Which Dee Dee and Alex were doing. And then they still have kids at home that they're still providing for. Okay, take her and Alex out of the picture. What does the family do now?
They crumble, they fall apart.
Right. That's the reason why, right? To my conversation with like Alex and me, that's the reason why you guys need to take advantage of a life insurance policy with living benefits. Because you're part of that sandwich generation. Take you out of the picture completely, now what happens to the family? Right? Or as Guillermo would say it, you take them down the road, you take them down the path of pain.
Yes.
Take them down the path of pain. What happens if you're out of the picture completely? Imagine where you guys are at right now. Take yourself out of your family. What does your family do? Especially those of you that are parents. What do your kids do?
They have a party. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
But that's my point, guys, is being very convicted out in the field why people need what we do. People say, no, I don't need it, I'm good, Bull. Okay, the only reason why people produce more, like Nick, like Alex and Dee, like myself, like Mary, like Ivan, is we're just more convicted out in the field than you guys.
Exactly.
That's it.
Exactly.
We have more conviction out in the field of why people need what we do. It's plain and simple. We're doing, that and we're probably outworking you too. Right, how many of you guys are willing to wake up at 5 o'clock every single morning for the next 10 years to be a millionaire? Okay. If you guys want a little nugget about what, how many of you guys follow Ed Milet? Everybody should, right? If you guys follow, he said one thing that made total sense, is if you want to wake up earlier, every week, wake up 15 minutes earlier. Some of you guys have heard him say that. I'm usually up between 5:30, sometimes earlier, depending on my son. Like this morning, he woke up at 3. Right? Want to be changed, want to be fed.
Trillionaire.
I know, right?
Billionaire.
But just keep in mind, that's the reason why you get up earlier. That gives you an extra more time to work on your business. So if you're working a job, you should be working on your business before you go to your job, if you can. Right? Following up on policies. You guys realize, remember, they're Eastern time. So you can get up as early as 5:30 and call them at 6 to follow up on pending requirements. So that's a good thing to do, right? A couple other things. If you're not licensed yet, you can make money through Legacy Shield. So that's a company that basically helps do estate planning. By the way, you don't need a license for it, and it pays points and commissions to the field. So you can still make money without a license. And then there's also Bolt Insurance Services. They mainly do property and casualty. Okay. Now, I will make a suggestion though, okay, and this will help you get more business. Make friends with somebody that's in P&C insurance and make friends with an estate planning attorney. I know Lupe has built a relationship with my estate planning attorney, right? And that's just more business for you guys. An estate planning attorney helps do wills, trusts, and depending on what they focus on, like my estate planning attorney, he focuses on wills, trusts, and helping people make sure they qualify for like Medi-Cal and Medicare and stuff like that. That's his specialty because he went through a family ordeal where his parents couldn't qualify for Medi-Cal and Medicare because they had too much in assets. You guys realize in order to qualify for Medi-Cal, if you guys don't know this, you have to show less than $2,000 in assets. If you didn't know that. So that means you can't actually own a house under your name because it's considered an asset. As crazy as that sounds, the government basically just wants to drain you every day. Part of the reason why you guys are probably in WSG, right? Right, even when I was talking to Benjamin in the Mo Zone, you start picking up on certain things that you learn from other people in WFG on how you can make more money and pay less in taxes, right? And that's a big deal. Okay, that's part of it.
So estate planning attorney and who?
And somebody does P&C
Oh,
insurance,
P&C.
property and casualty.
Like Leslie.
See, there you go. Now, if you can recruit one, that's even better. Because then they can cross-sell, and guess what? If you're like a senior associate MD, S&D, guess what? You override it. You override it all day, right? Or if they just refer to you, it doesn't matter, right? And I'll give you guys a tip on how to get in front of more people. Some of you guys know what I'm going to talk about. Like Louis, I've had this conversation with Louis a few times, right? This is part of it. But also, too, a lot of people think this is a little bit more advanced, but there's also business planning, right, that you can do. The S&Ds were, the MDs and S&Ds were more familiar with this. But you guys realize a majority of your clientele, like 99.5% of your clientele, are the everyday person. People that make between 50 grand to $250,000. That's gonna be the majority of your clientele. You start getting into markets where they're like, make 250 plus, 500 plus, million plus, right? I know Nick's got clients like that. Yeah, business owners. I have clients like this. You start talking about this is a completely different, ballgame when you get in here. Now you're not just talking about a $3,000 target. You're talking like $50,000, $100,000 targets. I mean, if you're an S&D, $100,000 target and 80%, do the math. Yeah, 80,000, one client, right? By the way, that's why your self-development is important, because how do you expect to sit with a business owner if you don't have the mentality of one? Right? So executive bonus plan, so that's more for the executives of a company. That's a write-off for a company, by the way, specifically C Corps. If you guys want to talk about this, you can come talk to me afterward. I can give you a little snippet, but this is just a simplified version. Key person insurance, like in Nick's business, the key person in his business is his mom. So if something happens to his mom, a key person insurance is just a life insurance policy on his mom that will help keep his business afloat to help hire and train somebody without sacrificing cash flow into his family. You guys follow?
Yes.
Okay, split dollar agreement. Let's just say Alex and Dee Dee own a business 50-50 with, say, Elijah and her husband, Paul. Right? And now let's just say it's Alex and Paul that run the business, and something happens to Paul, but Elijah has no clue how to run the business. Now she's trying to run the business and has no clue, right? They can, if they had a split dollar, so basically a life insurance policy on the business owner, they can buy Elijah out of her business, out of the business. She's satisfied, now they take 100% control of the company. Okay? You guys realize companies like State Farm Farmers, like all these other little companies, they don't know this stuff. They don't. They're missing out on like hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars of commissions that you guys can learn because of WFG, right? There's buy-sell agreements, business continuation, like this is all stuff you guys can learn when you get to that point. That's why I say you stick with your foundation first, and when you start getting into business owners, people that are higher net worth, then come talk to us about, okay, what else can we do? Okay, the only difference between an everyday client and a CEO, I'll just tell you guys, they just got more zeros in the bank account. That's it. More zeros in the bank account. And a different mindset, of course, but that's it. The money's still the same. So just what I showed you guys are 28 different ways. Go ahead, Elijah.
What you explained, I thought that was
Sorry,
for a
that's
buy-sell agreement.
buy-sell agreement.
Okay,
Sorry,
sorry.
guys. That's a buy, what I just explained was a buy-sell agreement. Split dollar agreement is like, let's just say Alex and Dee Dee run a company, and Elijah's one of their top salesmen. They make markers. They'll say, okay, Elijah, you're our top salesperson. We're gonna contribute some money to your retirement plan, but you have to contribute the other part. That's a split dollar agreement. Sorry, guys. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Now, what that does for the business owner, write-off. You guys realize when you're a business owner, you're trying to find as many write-offs as you can get. Okay, like I'll tell you, when I filed my tax for 2018 this year, I wrote off almost 30 G's. People look at me like just like, how the hell do you write off 30 G's?
You're Matt Chang.
Okay, I'll give you an example. Office, $7,200 a year. Okay, mileage on the card, 60 cents for every mile now. That deduction alone was almost 12 G's. MacBook Pro, that was give or take 1,800 bucks. I bought my wife a new phone, that's $1,000. I had to get a new phone, $1,000. Your travel, when we go to Las Vegas for a convention, when we go to Wealth Bowl, right? When my wife and I go out and have lunch or dinner, she's one of my clients, I write it off.
There you go.
Wow.
Like,
Recruit your spouse.
now, another suggestion I'll tell you guys, have a separate bank account for your business. I mean, it's just good business practice, and it's easier to keep, it's easier to track. Like, I have 8 bank accounts. I'll be frank. I got 4 with Bank of America, 2 with Capital One, and 2 with Navy Federal Credit Union. People were, why do you have so many bank accounts? Why do you only have a 401k? Why do you only have a 401k? Like, why do you only put your money in one spot? Like, especially if you heard guys, Nick's talk about Betterment. I started my Betterment like a week ago, and it's already been performing. You're transferring money. Like, you guys have to be saving money and investing money like crazy. But just imagine, I haven't even talked about bonus pools yet, or overrides. Imagine there's a base shop bonus pool, super base bonus pool, super team bonus pool, there's a quarterly base shop bonus pool, right? You override up to 6 generations, right? 17, 12, 8, 5, 3, 2, 1. You guys realize how good WFG gets,
Yes.
right? Okay, so look at this. So if you're completely fully licensed in WFG, this is how many products you can offer. 353. 353, fully licensed. Life, health, 63, 65. Oh, which by the way, if you have a 65, there's a IAR bonus and the base shop bonus pool on top of that.
I are super base and I are super team too.
Matt, does
Yes.
this include the Series 26, or that's
That includes the Series 26.
with all this?
Yeah.
Oh,
Series 26 is
just
more
supervisory.
supervisory.
yeah.
Supervisory.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so total with carriers, 144. Broker dealer plus we're a marketing company. State Farm, one company, their products, their services. Primerica, just term insurance, and then whoever they work through with their broker dealer. New York Life, same thing. State Farm, Farmers, Principal, which by the way, we work with Principal through Crump, right? Banner Life, Nick and I were just having
That's through AIG.
We do
That's part
AIG
of
directly, William Penn, Lincoln Financial, North American. Like all the companies you guys see on TV, we do through WFG. And by the way, a lot of the carriers we work through in WFG, even on the Chrome side, is 40/60.
Like that.
It's 40/60. Global Atlantic, Prudential, right? Everybody knows who Prudential is, right? Like, you just gotta realize this is really, really freaking good. Now, let's talk about the industry as a whole. By the way, this is updated as of this year. So you guys have seen me post something like this on my Instagram. This is as of this year. $109 trillion industry to be in the most lucrative industry in the world. And people are like, oh, I'm gonna get into real estate. It's the thing to do. It's 1/3 the size. Like, you guys should be talking to real estate agents. Like, you need to do what I do. Because you could be doubling or tripling your income because you already have a relationship with your clientele that you can go back. By the way, this is non-competing business. Go back and make sure, I want you guys to pay attention to this. Okay, put your phones down. Okay. Why not go back to all your clientele and show them to make sure that their family keeps this home long term? That all their ducks are in order when it comes to saving, investment money, and life insurance. Right? Because all these people, no offense to anybody that's in real estate, right? We're just in a bigger industry. There are more people to serve than there are homes to sell. Am I right or am I right?
Yes.
Yes, Nick.
Well, it's like, we always want to sell like the part-time opportunity, but it's like, it's so good. Like, do you want part-time people on your team or do you want full-time people on your team? I want full-time people. So like, I'm like, oh yeah, you could do this on the side. Like, yeah, that's a lead in, but really it's like, you see how good this is, like you got to transition over and you got to really jump into this industry.
Yeah.
Get a bigger piece of the pie,
You guys realize these are the three biggest industries right now. Right here. Notice, medical's not on there.
Nope.
E-commerce isn't on there. Right? It's financial, real estate, and retail.
Is 23.5 million Amazon? I'm just kidding.
I know, right? Probably is. Right? How big it is. Right? But just realize, you guys have to remember, you are in the most lucrative business, most lucrative industry in the world. And when somebody says, no, I'm good. Okay, next.
Exactly.
Who cares? Southern California alone, there are 30 million people. Who cares if one person tells you no?
Yep.
That's right.
Some people get so butthurt after one person. Like, oh, one person told me no, I'm gonna quit. It's not for me. But here's the thing, I'm gonna tell you. You know why? The why isn't big enough.
That's right.
The why isn't big enough. It's like, why do you get up every single morning? Why? I get up because my son cries in the middle of the night. Right? But you get up to take care of your family every morning. Some people, they work just so that they can party on the weekends.
That's sad.
I don't get it. Like, you guys, I started doing the math, like in my 20s. I'm like, man, I was spending like $200 a weekend, like twice or three times a weekend. That's like $600 to $800 a month. That's like almost, that's like say it's 600, that's $7,000 a year. Just in drinking and eating. Imagine if you're saving $7,000 a year and you're getting like 10%. Right? But this is the reason why we're here and why people need us. Right? Now let's talk about stats. Okay? 2018, Only about 60% of Americans had some form of life insurance. Among those, only 1 out of 5 felt they didn't have enough. That means 40% of America doesn't have life insurance. So imagine 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So out of this whole front row, or imagine even just this whole side, no life insurance. So what do you tell me you can't sell to nobody? Somebody says, not everybody needs life. No, everybody needs life insurance.
That's right.
By the way, we have carriers that will take people that are typically looked over because of pre-existing conditions. We have carriers that will take them, right? 1 in 3 individuals attempted or purchased life insurance online. Why do you think we talk about Instagram and Snapchat and Facebook? We want those people to buy from you guys. Why should they buy from somebody else when they can just buy from you? Right? Consumers overestimate the actual cost of life insurance, especially younger generations like millennials, by over 5 times the actual cost. You know, most people think that like term insurance is like $100 a month, even in their 20s for like $250,000. When I first got started, I'll tell you guys, when I first got started, $250,000 in coverage for a traditional term only cost me $19 a month. It was 26 at the time. It's cheap. Dirt cheap. Cheaper than any, pretty much, and since we have Chrome, we're cheaper than anybody else. Plain and simple, right? 50% of consumers would like to purchase life insurance without a medical exam. How many of you guys have ever gotten that before? I don't get poked by a needle.
Right.
But they got
The guy had tattoos.
right?
You kidding me?
Transamerica, if you guys don't know this, Transamerica, you can do a traditional term up to $249,999 without a medical exam. You can do an FFIUL up to $99,999 without a medical exam. Now you start talking about other carriers and some people that want more coverage than $250,000. Yeah, we work with carriers that can go up to, I think, Prudential will do up to $400,000 or $500,000 without a medical exam. You get a person, I want $500,000, but I don't want to get poked by a needle. Okay, there you go. You have the solution. And by the way, guys, how many of you guys ever really browse the website? Okay. So how are you really a business owner if you're not really browsing the website and you can find something that you need? Okay. Imagine, okay, Louis, I'm on your team. Could you show me how a commission statement works?
Yeah.
Okay, can you show me all the product providers?
Yes.
Okay, can you show me the compensation for every single product provider?
Yes.
Okay. I'd want to be on his team. And how many of you guys know how to use Campaign Manager or use Campaign Manager? You guys have to realize we have it so good in WG. Your E&O, your platform fee that you're paying for every single month is there for a reason. How many of you guys send people your website? Come on, guys, let's go. Like, you're paying that affiliation of the platform fee, so you have that website so you can send it to people. When people say, do you have a website? They want to see your face on the website. Remember what I said before? They're looking for credibility. Which, by the way, if you have that website and you got somebody that's like in another state, like Mary was talking about, what is it, Chicago?
Yeah.
I think you're saying? They can sign up under you through your website. You be getting directs without having to be in front of them. They just go to their website, oh, get started now, okay, da-da-da, boom, got a new code number.
I'm getting another one in Florida next week.
The power of the website. Okay, among married couples, 33% feel their spouse should purchase more coverage. Here's what really bothered me. 16% don't even know how much their spouse has. If somebody asks me how much life insurance my wife has, I can tell you exactly right now it is $1 million. Please don't kill my wife. I want her to be with me. Okay? But most people don't. Like, imagine 1 out of 5 couples don't know how much life insurance their spouse has. You guys starting to see why it's important when you book appointments. It's both husband and wife all the time.
I don't even know what they have on themselves.
Yeah.
On their spouse.
Right? The coverage gap, what a person actually needs minus what he or she actually has, is $15 trillion shortage as an industry.
That's crazy.
$15 trillion. So like if Ivan, as an example, if he was still working a job, right, was making $100 grand a year, what's his insurable need?
$1 million.
10
Million. Minimum 10, right? But imagine that is most people are underinsured. That's why you guys write multiple policies. Just don't write one policy. Now, sometimes financially it only makes sense to write one policy, and you have to do that. But most of the time, people write 2 to 3 policies per client.
Care packages.
Yeah, exactly. Total care package, IUL term, and a final expense. As times change, maybe they retire, now you're coming back for an annuity. Or maybe they come across a windfall and they're like, hey, I want something with long-term care. Right? So you guys be familiar with our whole platform. Okay? Nearly 58% of millennials, 39% of Gen X, and 16% of boomers believe that they are unlikely to qualify for life insurance. You guys realize one out of 2, 1 out of 3, and maybe 1 out of 10 believe that they can't qualify. Because maybe they think, oh, I'm too overweight, or my cholesterol's too high, whatever the case may be.
I'm old.
You guys realize, Nick shared a story a while back. He had a client that was, I think she was in her 60s, and by the time she was in her 70s, she had paid in enough that her insurance was pretty much free.
Yeah, it was, oh, you're talking about the IUL I did?
Yeah.
The small IUL?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a 72-year-old I did an IUL for. It was $110. I chose that over the Everest because of the cash value. And in 10 years, she had 10 grand in there, and that's what her, that's what she had paid in. So she had paid 10 grand, she had 10 grand in cash. And so it was literally, in a sense, she's like, in 10 years, I have free coverage. You know, and so it made sense. It was permanent. It had some cash. It was affordable. 25,000 coverage.
You just had it
There you
overfunded.
go. No, that was the
No.
Just
start.
target.
Target, one thing.
Yep. You guys, and you won't hear stories like that unless you're actually out in the field. That's the important thing I'm trying to make, right? 73% of millennials, 64% of Gen X, and 69% of boomers say they would like to meet with an agent or advisor before buying a policy. It's worth noting that the vast majority of these people do have a financial advisor, nor do they say they need one. So when somebody says, have you guys ever had the objection, I already have an advisor? Who's got that before?
Plenty of times.
Okay? Okay? And how I handle it is like, great, I'm glad you have one. When's the last time you actually spoke to him? You know, most of them, they're like, oh, it's been like 5 years. Really? You know, a lot's changed in the past 5 years since you've met with that advisor. There are little things you guys can say that you can get in front of more people, right? Now, here are common reasons why people get life insurance. Replace the income of the primary wage earner, leave inheritance to their family, pay off their mortgage, supplement their retirement income, provide funds for the heirs, pay for estate taxes, provide educational needs for the children, and donate to a charity. If, you know, sometimes some people are like, well, I don't need life insurance because I have no kids. I'm like, well, would you like to donate to a charity? They're like, yeah, I'd like to do something like that. Okay, there you go. They can designate a charity as their beneficiary. Those are like, you can do that with life insurance? Yes. A couple other reasons. You're single. How many of you guys are single in this room? It's okay, you can share it. You're married. You have children. Here's the one I typically bring up now. You don't have at least 10 times your annual income saved. Right, how many of you guys have 10 times your annual income saved that you're self-insured? By the way, that's 95 to 98% of America. More importantly, you have people that depend on you financially. Okay, especially if you're young and single. If your family doesn't have at least 20, 30 grand in cash right now to bury you in the ground, you need it. So that's sometimes I come across that, like, dude, I'm 25, I got no kids, da da da. I'm like, all right, but you have credit card debt? Like, yeah. You have student loan debt? Yeah, you need life insurance. Okay, that's my point. If you don't have money saved, just in general, you need it. And most people, they don't have it. Most of you guys realize don't even have $1,000 to pay for an emergency. They have to rely on putting that on a credit card, which is even worse, right? Most credit cards are what, 19 to 24% right now? Do the rule of 72. That's like 2, maybe 3 years before that balance doubles. Worst favor, right? Now, as I wrap up, a couple things. Differences in life insurance. By the way, this is a slide in our KTP. So if you're on Nick's team, you should have this. We're like what Nick was saying, we're finalizing a few things. So you should be able to, with this, you can explain every type of life insurance that's available for the most part. Term, great thing is, very inexpensive, you can get a lot of coverage. The drawback is, yes, it will expire someday. Right? Some people say, oh, I have Primerica policy, I'm insured to 95. I forgot who put that meme on Instagram or on our chat.
WG one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's not your coverage amount, that's your premium. I was like,
That was perfect.
right? But it's how you effectively explain this that will help you help more people, right? Whole life, permanent insurance, right? No protection against lapse, so it means if they miss a premium, they could potentially lose the policy, right? No accumulation for the first 5 years where rate of return is fixed. By the way, the one thing you want to remember on that part, it's based on how well the insurance company does, not how well the market does. And we say that very specifically.
Guess already, you guys.
Okay, if you guys have guests, go ahead and attend your guests. For the guys who don't, we'll be done in about 10 more minutes, okay? Interest to borrow is more than what you earn. Withdrawals can be delayed up to 6 months. The reason why a lot of people don't like whole life, it's death benefit only, no cash value. Okay, the point I'm gonna make is it's set up as a level death benefit, or option A, option 1. Okay, and the reason why you need to know option A, option 1 is because we call it increasing or level because we write Transamerica. Companies like Nationwide, North America Prudential either call it option A, option B, or option 1 or option 2. So you need to know this. Okay, so when you're actually physically looking at a policy, you need to know the difference, right? And everybody should be able to know how to explain an IUL, right? Permanent life insurance, no lapse guarantee, cash accumulates immediately. Rate of return is indexed, not fixed. Right, you like that? That's what I mean. Right? Average has been 8 to 12% tax-free access through policy loans. Withdrawals can happen in 72 hours. Beneficiaries receive both the death benefit and the cash value. Right, we used to do Bank A versus Bank B.
Matt, I saw a policy, their loan interest was like 8 or 9%.
Oof. That's rough.
Going over the interest rate on the
Right? Now the other thing, term versus perm. Okay, by the way, if you ever come across a Primerica agent and they want to go numbers to numbers, all day, every day, you can beat their term with an FFIUL. By the way, this is strictly Transamerica FFIUL. So this is a Transamerica term versus a Transamerica FFIUL. So if you guys pay attention, term at $400 for a 35-year-old for 30 years is $50.05. $600 a year or $18,000 over the next 30 years, no cash value. No death benefit after 30 years. If client reapplies and is insurable, right, this is why we talk about owning versus renting. New premium for the same amount of coverage is $469 a month or almost $5,600 a year, $112,000 over the next 20 years. Still only a $400,000 death benefit. Client passes, past 85, no cash value. Look at how much they put in, 130 Gs. Okay, same scenario with an IUL. $299 a month, $3,500 a year. That's $107,000 over 30 years. Cash value $209 at 65, $609. Client doesn't put in a penny more. Cash value at 85, $751. Total death benefit is 1.1. Okay, you guys want to go head to toe, heads up against other carriers that only do term? Tell them, okay, run it for the next 30 years, then run it again for another 20. You'll kill them every single time doing this. Right? And by the way, guys, that's just target. That's not even overfunding. That's just target, not even overfunding. Okay, as we wrap up, a couple things. How can you get in front of more people? When you call people, especially right now, let them know it's Life Insurance Awareness Month. Let them know, right? Ask if they have life insurance. Commend them if they do. Praise them for taking charge of their financial responsibilities, right? Like, so if I call Alex and Dee Dee and I ask them, hey, you know what? I know you guys know I'm in the financial services industry. It's Life Insurance Awareness Month, which I'm pretty sure you guys know. Just a quick question: do you guys own life insurance right now?
Yes.
Okay, great. You know what? I commend you guys for taking charge and making sure your finances are in order. But do you feel you have enough life insurance, or do you know if it's even the right policy for you guys?
No, we have it a long time, so I'm not sure.
Okay, well, a lot of things have changed in the past 20 years. What I would like to do is just make sure I do my due diligence for you guys, because you guys are my friends. That I'd like to come by, just take a look at your policy, and if it's good for you, great. If not, would you guys allow me to make a recommendation that might be something better for you and your family? Okay, how many of those kind of phone calls can you guys make every day?
25 a day.
Should be minimum, right? Now, if they don't, ask if you can stop by to share with them what you're doing and let them know they aren't obligated to do anything and you want them to be a referral source for you. Just another way. And I've had what I'm going to give you guys next is something I've shared with Ivan and Lewis. How many of you guys have ever talked to the beneficiary of a life insurance policy? Outside of the SMBs, right, and the MDs. Okay, as you guys are writing policies, you need to make it a point to meet with the beneficiaries. And here's the reason why. Okay, there are hundreds of millions of dollars of unclaimed life insurance benefits that are sitting in trust accounts with life insurance companies because people don't know they're life insurance beneficiaries. So if I'm sitting down with, say, Rosario and her husband Bethel, I want to know who their beneficiaries would be. Like, all right, Rosario, do me a favor, get your sister on the phone, let her know I want to meet with her in the next day or so to explain to you what kind of life insurance policy you have. So if anything, God forbid, knock on wood, if and when something does happen to you, she knows who to call right away. So you're not going there to sell them on a policy, but guess what? They're going to buy. Because they're going to be like, well, I don't have life insurance. I really like what Rosario and Beto have. How do I qualify? Or they'll say, I have life insurance, but I didn't know this was available. How do I qualify? How do I get one of these? It's just another appointment waiting to happen for you guys to get in front of more people. There should be no reason why you're still not on more appointments just because of that one extra step when you're out in the field, right? And just a reminder of compensation. How many training associates in the room? Okay, hurry up and do your 3 please. Okay, if you're a training associate, a $250 target, right? If you did that a week, okay, this is what you make. And you do one every week in a month, that's an extra 40 grand a year. How many associates in the room? Okay, hurry up and get to senior associate, please. I'm just gonna keep going, right? Same amount of work, 64 grand a year. Senior associate, 80 grand a year doing, guys, we're only talking about $250 in target premium a week. A week. That should be like one family a week. That's like maybe 3 apps. Right? Elijah just did 3. Alex and Lee just did 3. Right? You start thinking about this. That should be a norm. Are you doing like 3 to 5 a week? Right? Marketing directors, 90 grand a year. Senior marketing director, 100 grand. Right? You guys have to realize how good we have it. We have it so good compared to everybody else in the industry that they are like years and years and years behind this company. I want you guys to realize that. You guys starting to see that?
Yes.
That's important. Why you guys not only master getting people here, but mastering your craft out in the field. And I'll take maybe like 2 minutes. You got 2 minutes just for a quick Q&A. Anybody have any specific questions? Maybe an objection you're getting out in the field that you haven't overcome? Nobody?
No, but I want to say to the part of meeting the beneficiary, I didn't think about it until right now that you were saying that, because my brother's coworker, she got married to a Border Patrol officer. He was married before, divorced, had a son, had a policy then, When he married her, never changed the beneficiary. He passed away 2 years ago, on the way from work to his house in the car, in traffic. So they're going through the paperwork and all that stuff, and she found out that the ex-wife and the son are 50-50, and she was left.
Okay, I'm gonna make one point to go along with that. Okay, just so you guys understand, even if somebody has a will and a trust, a beneficiary designation trumps both of those.
Yeah.
It will always trump a will and a trust. So that's why you be on your clients, especially if you know they're getting remarried or they have remarried and they haven't changed the beneficiary yet, you need to be on. I was on one of my clients for a year. She's newlywed. I just sat down with them a couple weeks ago. Finally just changed her beneficiary after a year of being on her.
Or if they're single and they have a life insurance and then they get married, they don't even think about, they always put the guy or the mom all the time.
And that's part of the reason. Yeah.
Yes.
And you guys realize that's part of the reason why you do your annual review every single year. Every year you make sure you do your annual reviews, right?
For people that have, so I know obviously we have Everest and we have Gerber, what other companies do you know that we work with that if somebody's like in really bad shape with like dementia, what other companies would you say that don't do labs that?
Well, as far as the WFG sense goes, those really are only two.
Gerber.
Yeah, Gerber is the best bet.
Yeah.
The only challenge with Gerber is that it's 50 plus, but it is guarantee issue, return of premium the first 2 years. That's the only drawback. I wish they had more, to be honest. But it's just like what Elijah is asking. It's like, really, it's like, how well do you understand the platform? Right? It's like knowing how many different carriers do we have with products that are on. Now, like, I've never had to default to anyone outside of that, and I've even looked through the product guide. There's nobody else that does final expense except for Gerber and iAmerican through Everest. Answer that question. Right. Now, it's not to say that you can't do an FFIO for $25,000, or they can be. I was just having a talk with Alex and Rosen about that. He's got a 74-year-old client that's looking at an IUL. He's just more concerned with permanent coverage. Right. Go ahead, Luis.
I don't know if you answered it in the Moselle with Robert Green, but he had a client. He was asking about tumor. 15 years, no meds, not growing, it's benign, it's not nothing. I suggested checking Crump with United Omaha and Protective and all.
What are they trying to do? IUL?
He's trying to get some kind of insurance, not burial.
First question: what type of cancer was it?
It's a tumor.
It's a tumor.
It's a tumor.
Yeah.
Benign.
Benign. 15 years benign. It's not growing. No medication.
Typically, with tumors and cancer, it's typically 7 to 10 years.
Okay.
So if it hasn't really done anything, I would say send it in dry
Okay.
and have them do the lab work, the whole deal, and see if they can get approved.
With who?
I would try one of our platinum carriers first,
Still? Okay.
because there's nothing wrong with you going to 3 or 4 different carriers. There's no rule saying you can't only stick to one. You know, you can go to multiple.
Because I was telling them, I know United Omaha and Protective, they have like the lower rates.
Principal. That's
Principal.
Yeah, so you can send it in trial. You guys, one thing, you want to run a good, clean business. How do you guys want to keep a majority of your commissions? We'll finish up with this. Okay. If you're unsure, run it as a trial lab. Run it in with no money. Have the client do the lab work if lab work is required. Because here's the thing. The company rates you on your net point ratio or your persistency. Imagine if you only have a 60% persistency, you're only keeping 60% of your income. So if you make 100 grand, you're only keeping 60%, you're only keeping 60 G's. Makes no sense, right? So, but anyway, with that being said, appreciate you guys, love you guys, and we will see you guys on Tuesday.